Hello children, we are discussing the concept heredity and evolution. We already discussed the monohybrid and dihybrid process explained by the Mendel. And by using this process, Mendel postulated three laws. They are law of dominance and law of segregation and law of independent assortment. And according to the law of dominance, in the presence of heterozygous condition, one character is expressed in the offspring and that character is called as a dominant character. But there are some deviations to this law of dominance, that is deviations from Mendel concept of dominance. And this deviation we can observe in two cases, that is law of incomplete dominance and codominance. What is law of incomplete dominance? We will see. It is the phenomenon in which the F1 hybrids character intermediate of the parental genes. That means sometimes the F1 hybrid, the phenotype, it may not match with any of the two parents. The F1 hybrid, the phenotypic character of the F1 hybrid may not match with any of the two parents, but it has an intermediate character of the two. For example, see, we can see the Mirabilis jalapa. This is commonly called as 4 o'clock plant, and in that plant we will observe, if you see that, if you have taken the pure braids as the parents, that means red flowered plant is crossed with the white flowered plant, and the gametes formed are, so as you already know, during the gamete formation only one gene will enter in the gametes. So like that we will observe the one gene in the gametes, and during the fertilization the gametes fuse and the young one will be formed. And if you observe a hybrid, we can observe here, that is heterozygous condition we observe. But according to the law of dominance, here any one of the character should be expressed in the hybrid, and that character we discuss as the dominant character. But here we observed pink colored flowers. The pink color, it is not matched with any of the two parents. And this character is appearing like the intermediate between the two colors. So such case we call it as incomplete dominance. That means neither of the character is dominated here. That we call as incomplete dominance. So once we will observe this law of incomplete dominance. When red flowered plant is crossed with white flowered plant, then the gametes formed are capital R and small r, and here the F1 hybrid is showing heterozygous condition, but the character it produced is pink colored flowers. That means it is neither matching with the parents. That means we have observed an intermediate character here. So law of dominance is failed here. And if you observe the F2 generation, the gametes formed are here. This hybrid plant is self-pollinated, and we will see the gamete formation here. We already discussed, that is Punnett square. One parent gametes we will write along the one square, along the side of one square, and another parent gamete we write on the other side. If you observe here, the combinations, 4 combinations are formed, and out of these 4, capital R and capital R are of one type, that is exhibiting the red color, and capital R, small r are of 2 plants are produced exhibiting the pink color, and small r which is exhibiting the white color, one plant is produced. That means here we are seeing phenotypes, 3 types of phenotypes we are seeing, that is red color, pink color and white color, and they are in the ratio of 1:2:1. So here the genotypic ratio and phenotypic ratio is same. Here also 1 red color, 2 pink color and 1 white color. So 1:2:1 is the phenotypic ratio, and also here if you observe the genotypes, RR 1 plant is produced, capital R, small r 2 plants are produced, small r 1 plant is produced. So like that we can see both the phenotypic and genotypic ratio is same, that is 1:2:1. Now we will see the codominance. So now we will see the codominance. Here both alleles of a character That means here two characters are there in two parents and the two characters are equally expressed in the offspring. But according to the Mendel's law of dominance, only one character is dominant, that will be expressed in the hybrids. But here both the characters are equally dominant and both the characters expressed in the X1s. How it is possible? We will see. For example, the AB blood group in man, this is due to codominance. For example, parental blood groups, they are A group and B group, two parents we have taken. And here, this is the genetic combination of A and B blood group. And the probable blood groups in the children, if you observe, here these are the gametes of B blood group and these are the gametes of A blood group. And when this A and B combine, then it exhibits a new character, that is AB blood group. That means here equally A is also showing its characteristic features and B is also. That means both are equally dominating, and here that's why we are observing a new blood group, that is AB, which is not there in the parental group. So this is because of the codominance. So like this, because these are the two deviations from Mendelian concept of dominance. One is the law of incomplete dominance and the second is the codominance. So now we'll see the gene. That means, Mendel has hypothesized some laws, and he hypothesized that gene is responsible for controlling the characters. But where the gene is located and how it expresses the characters. Now we'll see. Gene. A gene can be defined as a segment of DNA or chromosome. We know that chromosomes are present in the nucleus of a cell. And these genes governs the synthesis of a protein that controls a specific character of the organism. So ultimately, gene is responsible for controlling the characters, and we see the gene on the DNA, which is located in the chromosomes of a cell. Now we'll see the structure of DNA. So here DNA exhibits double helical model, which was discovered by two scientists, Watson and Crick, in the year 1953, and for which they were awarded by Nobel Prize in the 1962. Here what is DNA? DNA is a genetic material, but actually we have two types of nucleic acids. They are DNA and RNA. And in majority of the organism, DNA acts as the genetic material, whereas in some viruses, RNA acts as the genetic material. And DNA exhibits a double helical structure. That means, see here, DNA exhibits. If you see the structure, the DNA structure resembles a twisted ladder. You can observe this. So, which is called as double helix. And here, this DNA molecule contains two polynucleotide chains, which are arranged anti-parallel to each other. Anti-parallel means here this chain starts with the 5' end and ends with the 3' end, and the other chain starts with the 3' end and ends with the 5' end. What is 3' and 5' we will see. And here if you see each polynucleotide chain, so we are telling that DNA is composed of two polynucleotide chains. Each polynucleotide strand consists of units of nucleotides or monomers of nucleotides, and each nucleotide consists of a nitrogenous base and a pentose sugar and a phosphate group. And if you observe this pentose sugar means 5 carbon compound. In the RNA, the pentose sugar is called as ribose sugar, whereas in DNA, the pentose sugar is called as deoxyribose. So like that, two types of pentose sugars we have, varies from the RNA to DNA. And phosphate molecule, and these are nitrogenous bases. So here what are nitrogenous bases? How many we have? We will see now. There are two types of nitrogenous bases. They are purines and pyrimidines. Here purines are again two types, adenine and guanine, and pyrimidines are cytosine and thymine and uracil. So we have three types of pyrimidines, and purines will always combine with pyrimidines. That means purines will always form bond with the pyrimidines and pyrimidines bond with the purines. And here if you see the adenine always bond with the thymine and cytosine always bond with the guanine. Likewise, guanine bond with cytosine and thymine bond with the adenine. If you observe, this is uracil and thymine. Here thymine is located in the DNA, whereas in the RNA, instead of thymine, we will find the uracil. So, nitrogen bases are two types. They are purines and pyrimidines. Purines are adenine and guanine. Pyrimidines are cytosine and thymine and uracil. So, we have purines and pyrimidines. And purines will always bond with pyrimidines and pyrimidines bond with the purines. And adenine will bond with the thymine by using two hydrogen bonds. Adenine bond with the thymine by two hydrogen bonds and cytosine bond with guanine with three hydrogen bonds. Likewise, even thymine bond with adenine by using two hydrogen bonds and guanine bond with cytosine by using three hydrogen bonds. And if you observe this double helical structure, these two strands, because of having these hydrogenous bonds, they are together. The two strands are together because of these hydrogen bonds. And here what is this 5 prime? That is, we already discussed sugar is a pentose sugar. This end ends with the 5 carbon compound, that means 5 carbon sugar, and here the other end ends with the 3 carbon sugar. So that's why here 5 prime end and here 3 prime end. That is, both the strands are anti-parallel to each other. So here we are telling that genes are located on the DNA. So this is the DNA, and if you see a single human cell, if you observe, approximately 2 meters long DNA thread will be there, and which occupies the 46 chromosomes, because you know human beings have 46 chromosomes, and a segment of DNA is considered as a gene. Like that, if you see in the human beings, we have 30,000, approximately 30,000 of genes are there. Like that, in a DNA, a piece or a segment is considered as a gene, and gene describes the characters. That means here the DNA, the chemical nature of DNA will describe the character. If any change in the sequence of DNA, it results in the variations. So if you see any sequence change, it results in the here change in the characters. Here how the genes express the trait. For example, if you see, here we are telling that genes governs the synthesis of a protein that controls the specific character. How do proteins control the characteristics that we are discussing here? Let us take the example of tallness of as a characteristic. We know that plants have hormones that can trigger the growth. Plant height depends on the amount of a particular hormone. If the enzyme responsible for the release of that hormone works efficiently, a lot of hormone will be made and the plant will be tall. If the gene for that enzyme has an alternation, then makes the enzymes less efficient and the amount of hormone will be less and the plant will be short. So thus gene controls the characteristics or traits. That means here genes are releasing proteins which are governing the character. For example, what we discussed, that is plant hormone. The release of plant hormone is controlled by some enzymes, and these enzymes are controlled by the genes. So likewise here each character is under the control of the gene. Okay, thank you.